Welcome to Old Fashioned Finance, the podcast that mixes cocktails and high finance. I'm your host, Caleb Frankert, and I'm joined by my good friend and fellow money muddler, Jason Burnell. Line.
Caleb, can a podcast about finance be entertaining?
Not without alcohol.
All right. Let's do this.
Now we go off script.
All right. Let's mix it up.
There you go.
Yeah. Crap. I've been bragging the last two episodes.
Did you
and
actually
I had that.
forget?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, man. There's a script here.
Okay. Well, it's okay.
Your parts are done. All right.
Oh, gosh.
Drinking tequila today.
Yes. I think that's why I forgot.
Yeah?
I'm excited.
You're,
I like tequila.
yeah, well, why not? It's starting to feel like tequila weather out there. So
It definitely is. This is a cute little drink.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It's must have the what is it? Cherry
Grenadine.
Grenadine.
Yes,
I see.
there's grenadine in it. You can see I used to just surprise you with the ingredients and then let you take a drink and see what you thought.
Yeah.
Now we can see all.
But
the
I was wrong
ingredients
so
up,
often that you can't do that to me anymore.
True. But yeah, we're drinking a drink called the Mexican Firing Squad today.
Whoa.
Sounds
Nice.
intense, doesn't it?
Yeah. But I don't see anything that's like real fiery.
No,
other than
I don't
just
think
tequila,
it's super
I guess.
intense. I have something up my sleeve for next week's episode, the
Ooh.
finale episode.
Oh.
So we are closing in
On closing out the tab?
on closing out the
Oh,
tab.
wow.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the last time.
one
Wow.
tier.
I will remember.
We don't own the rights to that music. So moving on. All right, Jason. Well, we are drinking tequila today. Mexican Firing Squad.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about what we got going on here, and then
All
we'll
right.
jump into the finance topic. So, obviously, tequila.
Yes.
We've got 2 ounces of tequila, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, freshly squeezed, which is difficult when you can't find the citrus press, by the way. 3/4
that
of an
doggone
ounce.
flood. It just disappeared.
Yeah,
didn't
it's
it?
gone. I don't know where it's at. Someone took it home.
Yeah.
Someone
I know.
took it home.
Probably the intern.
Anyway, yeah, so it took like 2 whole lemons to get that. And there's juice in there somewhere still. So, but anyway, yeah, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, freshly squeezed. And we can't emphasize enough, don't buy the sweetened lime juice for these kind of drinks.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
just not as
It's
good.
just nasty.
3/4 of an ounce of grenadine, which is a lot. That's a lot of grenadine.
That's why it's like
it's very
fluorescent
Hawaiian
red,
punch
right?
looking.
okay.
Yep. And then 4 dashes of Angostura bitters,
Ooh.
garnished
or
with
10.
lime. No, I actually did not go overboard this time. Normally I see that and I'm like, 2 means 4.
I'm trying to where did this drink come from?
I don't know. We used to go over like the history of these drinks and things like that, and
It just seems
controversy.
like a great name, but
yeah. But what does it mean? I don't know.
it came from the Cucaracha Cocktail Club in Mexico City.
All right, like the chupacabra.
No, not the chupacabra, the Cucaracha.
I saw something funny online that on the internets, the Googles.
The Googles?
It said someone posted a picture of a Kayabara
Mm.
and said, "Why is everybody so afraid of these chupacabras? Look how friendly they are." Like, that's not a chupacabra.
Yeah, I had many a chupacabra story growing up. Just so
bet.
you know, yeah, that was a good.
You grew up being afraid of the chupacabra?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was, first gen Mexican, so
Yeah.
or he is. He wasn't.
He's
He's
not
still
is.
recovering, but
He's
yeah,
still with us.
He's still with us. And that was scary stories.
Did you have the boogeyman at your house, or was it just chupacabra?
I don't think we had the boogeyman.
Okay.
I think we,
I mean,
we
that might
definitely
be-
had the chupacabra.
That might be too traumatizing.
and the ojo,
I don't know what that is.
That's-
O-J-O?
the eye, the evil eye. See, someone's gonna comment on this and be like, "We had the same thing, and I was terrified."
And we're drinking tequila too. Cool. Well, this is a really pretty drink, and all we did was with ice, mix all these ingredients up in a mixing glass, stir it up good, and then strain it into a fresh glass with rocks glass with fresh ice.
Ooh.
And it looks pretty. Looks like
It does.
Hawaiian Punch. Let's see
I
what
bet
it tastes
doesn't
like,
taste
Jason.
like Hawaiian Punch.
Well, most of the time, Hawaiian Punch
Ooh.
does not have tequila.
Yummy.
Smells interesting. Kind of
That's-
margarita-ish.
Oh man, I love you. Have I ever said that?
No, that was the first time.
Why
that's
did we
good.
wait to have tequila till the second to the last episode?
We've had tequila.
Why didn't we do this more often?
I've been saving this one for you. I've been saving this one for
gosh.
like 10 episodes.
That's so good.
It's very much like, honestly, this feels like a margarita, almost like a
It's like a
cherry
fruit
margarita or
fruit
something.
punch margarita. It's like that's great.
It's really good.
Yeah, good one, and it's very summery.
Oh,
that's nice,
man. That would be dangerous.
And I think with tequila, what we have found, the better the tequila,
the
better the drink.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've hit the top shelf tequila yet, but
I've had some pretty good tequilas. I mean, Cuervo's good for mixing drinks. This is great for margaritas.
Yeah,
I
this
think,
is
but
perfect.
I mean, like Patron Silver, that makes a heck of a margarita.
That's what I have
would be
at home, and that
fantastic
is
here.
my favorite out of all the tequilas that I've had.
I've had a couple of really top shelf tequilas that I wouldn't dare mix with anything.
That's interesting.
But when you think about it, would it make a better margarita?
Probably, yeah. There's not like that bite in a good margarita or a good tequila. I mean, it's smooth.
Mm-hmm. This is very smooth, by the way.
Like Tennessee whiskey.
Oh, mellow.
Mellow.
I do like some Tennessee whiskey. I have to admit. Chattanooga Distillery. Is it Chattanooga Distilling Company? I don't know. I think that's what it is. They've got a really good bottled and bond. They've got a good cask strength whiskey. It's bourbon made in Chattanooga.
Yeah, it's whiskey.
When it comes to Jack Daniel's, Old Number 7, not a fan.
No, me
but their
neither.
barrel proof is really good.
Oh, yeah. Real good.
Yeah. So, I don't hate all Tennessee whiskey.
Me neither.
Just the one that everybody likes. So, all right. Well, this is a pretty good drink.
Great drink, man.
Really,
Make this
it's
at home for summertime.
It's like a cherry margarita. That's what I'm gonna say. Is that what's in Grenadine's cherry?
The
Right.
bitters though, it's the orange and the cherry together that makes it.
Yeah, the bitters.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's not because I am actually not a cherry fan. Okay.
Yeah, smell that. That's all cherry, right?
Yeah, this doesn't taste like that. The orange.
This
like
is
fruit
almost
punch.
medicinal smelling.
Yeah.
But it does not come through in the drink
well,
at
that's
all.
what grenadine. You always have that kind of risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my lime wheel here.
I just threw mine inside because that's how I roll.
There you go. All right, Mexican Firing Squad. I would do it again. In fact,
yes.
I'll probably do it again this weekend. Okay, Jason. So moving on to the finance topic. We are wrapping this thing up here in the next couple episodes, and there's a lot of fodder here for multiple episodes, but I kind of gathered a couple of ideas, and we're going to talk about a handful of financial myths debunked.
Ooh.
Yeah, so a lot of those things that you commonly hear, like, well, it's always X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. Not necessarily. We're going to talk about some of those today, Jason.
I am 100% unprepared for this episode.
I know, and I wanted to keep you in the dark on this because I know you have opinions about all of these.
Uh-oh.
So I thought it would
You're
be
going to make me go get off my lawn again here?
You might on a couple of these.
All right.
Well, let's just get right into it.
Okay.
And I didn't arrange these in any specific order.
Pacific?
Did I? Yeah. I didn't arrange it in any specific order. So we're just going to go with the first one that I have here, which is I can make a lot of money day trading.
Ooh.
And I'm going to put in there as a 1B. I should be looking at my investments daily.
Ooh.
All right. So obviously I put this in the myth category, Jason.
I know. Day trading is just impossible.
Are you saying day trading's for losers?
I've only met one person in my entire career that was successful at day trading, and it wasn't for very long.
And that person was me. And
it wasn't you, actually.
Okay.
So,
so
they
you
were
and I
wildly disciplined with how they approached it.
Yeah. So I would say it's interesting you say wildly disciplined because I don't know that day trading and wildly disciplined. There definitely can be a process. I think
But they were day trading.
Based on when we grew up And when we were in high school and college and getting into all of this stuff, I would say there are a couple of things that probably made a big impact. Satellite TV.
Oh, yeah.
CNBC, Jim
24
Cramer.
hours a day.
Yeah, and I think that, hearing a guy yell booyah with his sleeves rolled up and just acting crazy.
Full of energy.
Yeah. Got a lot of people really into this day trading thing, right?
Yeah, he did real good with that Silicon Valley Bank call, didn't
Well,
he?
let's talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are people who have a platform, obviously, that are pushing this this idea. Why are they wrong?
They're not wrong, okay? Like, they're not totally wrong. I just think it's very difficult. I think the system is set up against the average day trader, okay?
Okay.
So if I was running a $100 million charitable trust and I was able to have some clout in the market, get my orders in the right order, maybe have a relationship on the floor, you might be able to make it work, okay? But the average guy with, his Robo or whatever app he's using, probably isn't going to be able to make it work.
So in my experience, when I was in college and had a little bit of money to scrape together, I decided I'm going to try it. I was taking portfolio management classes and things like that. And I would even say in college, Jason, that it was very stock picky centric. It was we were learning how to value stocks.
Definitely.
To look at financials, we were looking into all the different, book values, PE ratios, all that good kind of stuff, which I think was good for us to learn for sure.
It's definitely good.
But it really gets you itching to go pick some stocks and say, hey, you know what? I'm getting the hang of this. Let's see what I can do. So my first experience, I put $10,000 into a TD Ameritrade account.
Nice.
And
TD Ameritrade.
Yes, Ameritrade. And I decided, okay, I'm going to research some companies, and I'm going to. Now, I would say that I wasn't coming at it from a day trading point of view. I wanted to make good picks and then write them out. I actually, and you'll recognize this, a lot of our listeners probably will, I also subscribed to Investors Business Daily and was using their whole can slim philosophy. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
So when you talk about day trading and discipline, I would say, well, some people do employ this. And that was an approach where it was a process that you do X and then you do Y, then you do Z. And when this happens, then you do this, then you do this. And a lot of that was centered around when you're up this much, you sell this much, you let this much ride, and then you reinvest, the excess somewhere else.
And that's
very disciplined.
That's exactly what the one person that I met in my entire career that was successful, that's exactly what he did for about 10 years.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
So I would say from my experience, and I wasn't using the can slim like to the T.
To the T, yeah. Well, you only had 10 grand in there.
Right.
Only.
And
10 grand.
I would put it this way. I picked a couple of real winners.
And
I also picked a couple of real losers.
Yeah.
And it's been my experience with stock picking, even for someone who does this for a living. And mind you, okay, I guess I should clarify. We don't claim to be stock jockeys. We don't day trade.
We're not a stock shop
we don't
at
do
all.
Yeah, we don't do individual stocks. But for someone who does finance for a living, I would say that what happens is generally you're going to pick some winners, you're going to pick some that don't do anything, and then you're going to pick some losers. And generally my experience with that has been, and with my clients who have gone, outside of their accounts here and set up that, I call it Mad Money account, the Scratch the Itch account. Same kind of thing. You basically break even when it's all said and done. You're real excited about some of the winners, really disappointed in the losers.
Well, you don't really pay attention to the losers, or you try not to. I just went online and I said, what are some stats for day trading? I think this is pretty good. 40% of day traders quit after 1 month.
Wow.
After
That's
3
30
years.
hard days of day trading, man.
After 3 years, only 13% of day traders remain.
Interesting.
90.5% of day traders are men.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, there's a little bit of ego going into this. Robinhood reported that one of its users earned over $30 million in a single day of day trading, and that's what attracts people.
Yes.
Okay. So
it kind of piggybacks on the get rich quick idea that we talked about a couple of episodes back.
But here's the real stat. Only 13% of day traders were consistently profitable.
Yeah. those are not good numbers.
No. So there you go. So 1% of day traders were consistently able to make money over a period of 5 years.
Let's put that into perspective. 13%. You really have better odds betting on sports probably if you stick close to the Vegas line.
I would bet the odds are better on sports.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's wild. That's wild.
I mean, again, it's not set up for the small guy. Okay. It just isn't. And I just a few weeks ago I told the audience that I'd went to a local high school. This was one of the subjects that came up. And it's really hard, again, all boys. So there you go, fits the stat that we're asking these questions. It's really hard to convince somebody that they think they have some kind of knack or inside information, convince them that they don't.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like, this doesn't really work, but it could for me.
Tell me the names you're picking. And, it's all the typical stuff. And these are big names. Everything is against you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so, I'm going to say it's not for me.
Yeah.
You're taking the odds of being profitable are very low. The odds of being profitable
for
a diversified portfolio for an extended period of time are so high.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I take
Why
that
would you
risk?
worry about it?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you think about it, the cost that you pay for someone to manage it, whether that's in a mutual fund, index fund, or a financial advisor that's doing portfolio management, if you look at those numbers, it's a small price to pay.
Exactly.
So, yeah, debunked, I would say. It's not the norm. It can happen. But we're proponents of well-diversified portfolios. And I'm going to say it. We've had to say this to clients, too, recently. Diversification doesn't make you rich, but it keeps you from going broke.
Yeah, it means I'm going to
the
say
behaviors.
I'm sorry a lot.
Yeah,
right?
it's the behaviors
Right.
that get you where you're going. So, yeah.
You're not going to hit a home run. I think that's a better way of putting it. And you still might have a good year. I mean, in our diversified portfolios, we've had 30% years.
Sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Well, I think we've talked about this in multiple episodes. We did talk about it somewhat in the baseball episode.
Yeah.
We talked about, is the stock market gambling, all those parallels that we're drawing here. We're not saying that, the market's really tough. It's a rough place to be. It's worse than gambling on sports. No, that's not what we're saying. With a disciplined approach, with a well-diversified approach, you win most of the time, actually.
And that's how these managers of funds, ETFs, are doing it. I mean, that's just how they have $100 million to work with. So,
and that's a big key to being diversified.
It is. I mean, institutional clout is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you put your trade in for 2 shares of Meta, you're probably going to get squished by the person that put a trade in for $100 million. So,
absolutely.
Just a thought.
All right. Well, let's move into the next one, Jason.
Ooh.
This is a fun one. And again, I said they're in no particular order here.
All right.
But one of those other myths, and I whittled these down, by the way. We could have probably done a couple of episodes of these.
For sure.
But how about renting is throwing your money away?
Oh, gosh.
And really the thesis here is it makes more sense to own than rent all the time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going to say that's definitely a myth. Owning a house is expensive. Okay.
Yes.
It's also unpredictable. People think like having that consistent payment because of your mortgage or whatever is certainty. The problem is you can't predict all the things that are going to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
My experience with this statement is typically like young people who don't have 2 dimes to rub together going out and buying houses to avoid paying rent. That's usually where this is coming from.
Yeah.
So, number one, you better have an emergency fund. You better have a down payment. So this house is a blessing and not a curse, right?
You should probably have an income that can support things that pop up too.
An income is very important. Yep.
And by the way, the banker or loan officer is probably not going to be a good gauge on whether your income is enough to not only afford the mortgage, but the other things that can go wrong. Because remember, in that case, you're the landlord and the renter.
Right. Exactly.
When a toilet leaks, you're the one fixing it. When the
your
furnace
water
goes
filter
out,
breaks.
yes, you're the one fixing it. And I go back to, whenever we bought our house, which was in 2007, so 2006. So right at the height of all the mortgage fun.
That's why you still live there?
No, I really hate moving. That's one reason, but
And you love your house.
it's all right. It's cheap to live there, which I really love about it. But I would say that there was a time where, and I was completely convinced of this mentality that renting's stupid. Why would I throw my money away? At least it can go to equity, something that I can tap into down the road or something.
And then 2008 happens.
Well, and luckily for us, we were fine. However, there was a long time there where in the back of my head I was thinking, man, we're a furnace away from financial
catastrophe.
Exactly.
Right. Having to use a credit card or
we're a roof leak away from, do I have to sell my house because I can't afford to fix it? And I think that this mentality that we have is that renting is stupid, and also that everybody has a right to own a house, which has been perpetuated over the last 20 or so years.
Definitely.
And we put a lot of emphasis on it too, that's like your main thing, your house, that's your everything. So home ownership is this thing that we all aspire to. It's synonymous with the American dream. And I'm just going to say the truth of the matter is not everybody should be a homeowner. And there's lots of times when I'm fixing stuff at my house that I go, man.
Yeah. And I mean, it ties you to one spot.
Yeah.
So if you have like flexibility, that's really valuable, especially if you're young in a career.
Well, heck, if I would have moved 2 years after buying my house, if I would have had a great job opportunity, we would have moved. I would have been upside down selling my house.
Right, exactly. So it's taken a long time, 15 years,
sure,
for you to get to the other side of that equation. And yeah, I mean, I think a down payment, no more than 25% of your take home for your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all things I say to do and things that I haven't necessarily done in my life. So don't judge me, okay, people that know me.
Well, if you're listening and you want to know more about this, dude, we did a How Much House Can You Afford episode a while back.
Yeah. And so, I think renting is actually a very smart financial decision. Early in an uncertain situation, it's perfect.
Flexible.
So, yeah.
I always say flexibility is one of your most important assets.
Well, and that's definitely something that's gotten us further in our careers.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. It's made career decisions easier.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a $5,000 a month house payment, I was at a conference recently, an advisor was there, lived in New York State, not in New York City, just paid over $1 million for a house. And he's like, yeah, it's like 3,100 square feet. It's a pretty nice house, but his house payment was like $6,000 a month.
Hey, living in Northwest Ohio is pretty darn affordable, by the way.
I know.
All right, so that's a good one. That's kind of reiterating, again, like I said, one of our prior episodes, which I think is worth checking out if you're in the market for a home or you want to learn a little bit more about that.
Guys. It's okay.
It's absolutely okay. All right, how about this one, Jason? I don't need an emergency fund. I use my credit card. And I'm going to add to that why would I have an emergency fund after all? Interest rates are higher, but my bank accounts aren't paying anything. So I'll just use my credit card when I need to. What do you think?
Wow. I can't imagine living in a financial household that doesn't have an emergency fund. That's how I grew up. I mean, so, my kids don't even think twice that mom and dad can, put new tires on the car or, the furnace dies. We have an emergency fund.
Not having to go to the credit card every time something outside of
it is an unreasonable, unnecessary stress in your life to not save something in an emergency fund. And what it does to all the rippling decisions through your life, job changes, relocations, buying new vehicles, it just ripples through all of that stuff that you can't discount the ability to be like, I've got some cash over there. We're going to be good. It also adds to the discipline of, you know what, you don't need all that crap.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to ask yourself, am I just on a constant pursuit of things? Am I being a good steward, right? And am I actually caring for the things that are most important? I'll tell you, it was stressful growing up in a household where money was tight all the time.
Yeah.
It just was.
Well, and it kind of, this piggybacks off of the home ownership thing, right? If you can't afford to keep the household going without using the credit card, if everything comes up, you kind of talked about it too. Stewardship is important. You gotta. You cannot. What I find often whenever I'm talking to folks with this kind of a situation, we're not dealing with you don't have an emergency fund because you don't like the fact that you're not getting any interest. That's not the case. You don't like a budget.
Right. You don't like the boundaries it creates. You don't
Right.
like the discipline that it requires. It's the same reason why I don't like to exercise.
Absolutely. Hey, and by the way, I don't like to budget.
Yeah,
it's not something I like
either.
to do. So for someone starting out, and I understand that not everybody starts out with a big emergency fund, but that needs to be one of your goals that you're working towards.
A priority.
Absolutely.
Really.
And you might have a credit card in the meantime before you get there,
Sure.
but that should make you super uncomfortable, especially in this environment where interest rates are going up.
Yeah, it's if you just do the math, sit down, take $1,000 times 25%. You're talking $250 just lost in interest typically on an annual basis
for the convenience.
The convenience, and again, to avoid the discipline, the constant pursuit of things, so you have additional income or additional spending money. I don't know. I really don't like this one, and I think the sad side effects of these ones are like, what does that do to your marriage? How does that stress transfer to your children?
I just have the clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop yelling, "You lack discipline." Right?
Good one.
Well, we got to move along, but these are actually flowing together pretty well because the next one is, Jason, hey, good deals. You can't afford to not take a good deal. That's, after all, you're saving money.
Our studio audience is like losing it over here. Oh.
It's a good deal. I'm saving money. Well, are you though?
Yeah, this is a tough one. This one hits close to home.
Okay, so if it's something you need, something you were already in the market for.
That's a definition that's pretty loose.
If it's money you were going to spend, then yes, a good deal is saving money.
Correct.
But what about, I'll throw myself under the bus. Someone comes in with a nice guitar that I don't need, but got a good deal on it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to leave it at I got a good deal. Did I save money? Heck no, I didn't save money.
No, because you weren't really looking for it anyway.
Right.
I don't know that we're good examples, though, because we're in a part of our life where we have discretionary income. So
finally,
only took 20 years. Yeah, so you can. I think that this is a very thin line that you're walking. I do believe many of the things that got me to the financial point that I'm at was because I had my wife is a home economist and is just really good at saving money on groceries, especially when money was tight. It's not as tight now, so we don't necessarily use like a gazillion coupons and all that stuff, but we stock up though. Definitely.
But those are things that you're going to buy anyway. What's really funny about that, I hear you saying that your wife is a really good home economist. And you know what? I know that you're good at finding good deals, whether you need them or not.
That is probably one of my biggest weaknesses.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I find good deals all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a good deal. Like, can I really pass this up?
I can tell you right now, I bought my car that way, my truck, the camper, like all of these things that I'm like, they're just deals I can't pass up. So.
Yeah, I would put it this way. Don't spend the money unless it's something you were going to buy. And that doesn't mean don't spend anything outside of necessities. But if it's something you've made a family decision on, a conscious decision that you're going to spend the money, then I would say absolutely look for the best deal you can find.
Right.
And then you've saved money.
And that's me. I mean, I just can't turn that off.
But if you spend all your money on good deals, you're not saving money.
Yes.
All right, let's move to
that's
the
like
last one.
That's definition ever.
look at how these are flowing together, though, Jason. The last one I have here today is you'll spend less when you retire, and you'll save more when you get older.
Yeah, that's just a bunch of baloney.
You're just straight lying to yourself.
Yeah, you are lying to yourself. This is not.
No, when I'm young and
I'm able to do more stuff. And
right.
then you're like, yeah, right. Your tastes get better.
Yeah.
You spend more. You're like, you know what? I need the Ultra HD Super 5000K TV because I deserve it.
Yeah.
And you just can't stop the spending. I have not seen many folks cut back on spending. In fact, it usually goes up.
I know we got to wrap it up here, and that was kind of a lob I threw right over the plate. But this is what I say to clients when we're preparing for that retirement conversation too. Savers are savers, spenders are spenders. And what's unfortunate is there's not a lot of in between. If all you've done is save, I'm going to be the one that's begging you to please spend some of this in retirement. Right. And guess what? You're probably not. However, if you're the one that I've been saying you need to save more, we got to stop spending so much, you're not going to stop spending just because you're retired.
Yeah, you're going to go to that home show and you're going to buy a new lawnmower and you're going to, do that nice DAC upgrade. That's just how it goes.
Yep. Savers are savers, spenders are spenders.
Yeah.
I haven't decided what I am yet.
I know what you are.
All right. Well, this was fun. We could go on forever with these, but our
these
time is up. So thanks for having a drink with us this week, folks. It's time to close out the tab. If you have a question or a topic you want addressed on the Old Fashioned Finance podcast, be sure to email us at podcast@bluejfg.com. We might have some time to do that next week.
Woo!
We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to share the show with someone you love or just someone who needs a little money muddling themselves. You can stay up to date with the latest action by following us on Facebook. Old Fashioned Finance is brought to you by Blue Jay Financial Group. That's bluejfg.com and produced by Podastery Studios. We've been your hosts, Caleb and Jason.
Cheers.
Boom goes the dynamite. Blue Jay Financial Group, LLC. Blue Jay is a registered investment advisor registered with the state of Ohio. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The presence of this advertisement on this podcast shall not be directly or indirectly interpreted as a solicitation of investment advisory services to persons of another jurisdiction unless otherwise permitted by statute. Follow-up or individualized responses to a consumer in a particular state by Blue Jay and the rendering of personalized investment advice for compensation shall not be made without first complying with jurisdiction requirements or pursuant an applicable state exemption. All verbal and written consent on this presentation is for information purposes only. Opinions expressed herein are solely those of Blue Jay unless otherwise specifically cited. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations are made by our firm as to other parties' informational accuracy or completeness. All information or ideas provided should be discussed in detail with an advisor, accountant, or legal counsel prior to implementation.